Serdashop has once again sent me some MIDI gadgets for review. This time we have this external interface board from Serdashop's and anybody else's Wavetable header MIDI synthesizer. He also sent me the medium and the extra large 3D printed enclosure. And to complete the kit, he also sent me this X2GS SE with licensed samples from Roland. If you are buying one MIDI synthesizer to play DOS games, this is the one to buy. For transparency, Serdashop sent me all this for free for review purposes, and I get to keep it. First, let's talk about the X2GS SE. I have reviewed several Wavetable MIDI synthesizers before, including the Dream Blaster X2. The SE stands for Second Edition, and the GS is because Serdashop has included a licensed soundbank from Roland. I have compared MIDI synths for a while now, and I have to say, if you're looking for the most authentic, in my ears, and the best possible sound for your GS or GM DOS games, you want to use the licensed Roland samples. If you want a deep dive into the X2GS SE, check out Phil's Computer Lab's video on this. Phil's does not only review the X2GS SE, but also takes the time to do some explaining on what MIDI is and why licensed Roland samples matter. So don't forget to check that out after you have finished watching my video. So, what is the external interface board and why should I have one? This PCB, called the Chill 5, is basically a board where you can install your Wavetable header compatible board. Basically, all Wavetable synths with a Wavetable header will fit, like the original Roland SCD-10 and the SCD-15, often used together with a Sound Blaster card. With the Chill 5, you don't need to open your PC to connect the synth. You don't even need a sound card at all. What you need is a way to connect it to a MIDI port. There are several ways you can do this. You can connect it to a computer with a built-in MIDI port, like the Atari ST. You can connect it to an external MIDI port on your sound card, usually the joystick port. Here I'm using the DB15 to MIDI adapter. Check out my video using this adapter together with the DB15 doubler. If you don't have a sound card in your PC, you can use this serial to MIDI adapter. Check out my video using this adapter. And finally, you can connect it to a modern PC with a USB to MIDI adapter and use it, for instance, in DOSBox. This way, you can still use your old Wave Blaster compatible board on your modern PC. After choosing your way to connect it, you have to choose what Wavetable synth you want to use. The great thing about the Chill 5 is that it's super easy to change the synth. So if you have several synths for testing, or if you're using them for different purposes, you can easily swap them out. I'm using this very small X2GS Second Edition. If you have a larger card, you can go for the extra large enclosure. Now you have a convenient and nice looking external synth. So if you are like me with a good selection of computers, you can now easily move it between them. Let's take a closer look at the external connectors. There's a lot of stuff going on there. 9V power in and MIDI in is straightforward. Also the stereo out. But the stereo in is usually not connected when you buy it from Serdashop. These are only used together with the Yamaha DB60 XG and the NEC XR385 Wavetable boards. Internally, we also have a lot going on. First, the red dip switches. You can set the volume out to low, medium or high for each channel. We also have pin headers for MIDI out, MIDI throughput and 5V out. I have no idea when these might come in handy, but you never know. And finally, we have pin headers for line in and line out. These are basically the same as the external phono RCA connections. At first, I thought I could use the line in from any source, for example the digital sound from my Atari ST, and then basically use the Chill 5 as a mixer for both PCM and MIDI sound. But this is not the case. As mentioned, line in are only used together with boards like the Yamaha DB60 XG and the NEC XR385, which supports digital effects on external input. Lastly, we have a connector for a floppy power cable. This comes in handy if you're connecting a VP32 McCake, also from Serdashop. If you want to study these connectors more, you can have a look at this diagram from an earlier version of the Chill board. So, what about audio quality when using this board? With all this electronics going on, I thought this also worked as a DAC, digital to analog converter. But later I learned that the DAC is already built into each Wavetable synth. So this board will not change anything when talking about the sound quality coming out of the synths. But it will usually improve the sound quality altogether, since the audio is not passed through any sound card mixer, where in my experience it picks up noise from the sound card and the computer. If you want as clean as possible MIDI sound, using this external box is the way to go. That's all, folks. Don't forget to check out the different videos I mentioned. They are all linked in the descriptions. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. Thank you for watching.